From the last decade, I'd have to say, starting off with the final season of Lavelle Edwards, ending a 3-decade career, a guy that's a Hall of Famer and a legend. They named the stadium after him that year. This was in 2000. And a very memorable game at the University of Utah in his final game, a comeback victory led by Brandon Doman. And then over the years, we've seen the emergence of University of Utah football to become not only a conference power, but a national power. Begin with Urban Meyer and him taking the Utes to the first BCS bowl game, the Fiesta Bowl in 2004, and successfully defeating Pittsburgh. That was a turning point in this whole BCS story. We've seen the advent of two coaches that grew up here in Utah, Bronco Mendenhall, who was hired in 2005, after Kyle Whittingham turned down the BYU job and stayed there at Utah to replace Urban Meyer. These two have become dominating coaches and personalities in the state of Utah, but have also made their imprint on the Mountain West Conference, with Kyle Whittingham having taken the Utes to a BCS game again, the Sugar Bowl in 2008, and defeating formerly #1 ranked Alabama. And there's been a lot of great football games, memorable football games, games that will go down in the lore in this two rivalry for its great plays, their great endings, all the drama. It's been fun covering those games. The idea that there are certain 6 conferences that are only worthy of competing on a national basis is ludicrous. Last year, Alabama was ranked #1 most of the time during that whole season. At the end, when dust settled, Utah was the only undefeated football team in America, and yet it didn't have a chance to play for a national championship. So the proof is there. People could argue strength of schedule. They can argue, well, Utah comes from a league that isn't worthy of a national championship because they haven't gone through the same gauntlet that, say, Ohio State or Southern Cal or Alabama has. But that's all well and good, but all of those teams have their own games that they've played against inferior competition. All of them have had situations where they lost games. They just simply lost. Utah didn't lose. So the argument is that we've got to find a way where those that have achieved on the field on a weekly basis are able to play against each other, no matter what their league or where they're from. Right now, most of that money is going to conferences and teams, say like the University of Washington, who didn't play in a bowl game and hasn't for a long, long time and barely has won football games. But yet they're receiving 3 times more money than the University of Utah that was undefeated last year. That's not fair.